The Snowy Mountains is a harsh and rugged part of Australia, steeped in mystique, a wilderness where people disappear. It's not where I thought my Australian journey would end. That's a giant trout statue, and you'll find this in Adaminaby, up in the Snowy Mountains high country. Now, I wasn't planning on being here. Let me explain. We were driving on the Snowy Mountain highway and just pulled off the highway a little bit on a dirt road. Didn't see a bloody great rock, and the rock's gone through my radiator hose pipe and lost all my water. We got a lift into Talbingo because I couldn't get any network reception up on the mountain. Came down here so I could call RACV and organised a tow truck. But then the problem was I'm down here and my van's way up in the mountains about 50 k's away, and I had to get back up there. Thankfully, Kylie and Kevin, who run the general store here in Talbingo, are the nicest, kindest people ever, and they offered to run us all the way back up the mountain. That's more than a 100-kilometre round trip for them, doing it out of the kindness of their heart. So the local mechanic came out with his tow truck and has towed us back to this town, which I can never say, whatever it's called.
Adaminaby.
So right now we're just going to camp in the main street, and then in the morning when the mechanic opens up, he's going to see exactly what the problem is and see if he can find a part for it. Got a feeling it's probably going to take a day or two. Oh, and just to make it more interesting, there's a huge storm on the way. So it looks like I'm going to be spending a little bit more time in town than I expected. Let's see what it's got to offer. I guess the most notable is the big trout.
It was too windy and that, and they left the scaffold up and it blew the budget out on the trout, you know, so they couldn't really fix it, so they sprayed it. 10 years later they did it, and it was an outrage because it painted it like a cartoon character. So the council said, gave us choices of, and the bloke came back to paint it willingly, you know, yeah. And now it looks a lot better now than a cartoon.
Yeah.
But
so it got a repaint.
Yeah, it's had its drama. Had its drama, the old trout.
Yeah. So Adaminaby is one of the highest towns in Australia. It's more than 1,000 metres up. This is the area that Banjo Paterson wrote about in his famous poem, The Man from Snowy River. The town that's here now is not the original town. That's underwater. It was flooded by the creation of a nearby lake, and that was in the 1950s, so this town's not very old. And this dude behind me apparently is the world's largest fake trout. This area is known for trout fishing, of course, horse riding and bushwalking, that kind of stuff. It's a sleepy old town.
Is in a stream. The ocean called for you and me. Still, I'm in this game, but without my closest friend.
I believe a lot of houses in town have actually been sold to Snowy Hydro 2 for their fly-in, fly-out workers. So the population of the town in the last census had about 300. It's probably maybe half of that now, as the locals sold up and moved to the city. And you can see that half the shops in town are now closed down as a result. But here at Adaminaby, they've got a fish and chip shop, there's a baker, and there's a good pub. And in the fish and chip shop, I've met Jazz.
Hey,
Jazz, what's it like living here?
it's pretty good. I like living here a lot.
Yeah?
Good sense of community in the town, so everyone will do anything for you.
Yeah.
We're all family here. Yeah.
I talked to someone the other day and
Yeah.
they were saying the town kind of is dying because Snowy 2 has bought up a lot of houses, or they're renting a lot of houses.
Yep, I find that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no room for new families to move in.
No, there's not. And rent prices here are ridiculous. Like, I pay $450 a week for my house with 3 bedrooms, which you can basically get in Canberra for the same price. Like, yeah.
goodness.
So it is a bit, yeah, housing market's not the best.
Is there an answer to that?
Not that I know, but probably, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe don't let Snowy buy absolutely everything, you know? I don't know. Yeah.
Now, I've been travelling around Australia for about 8 months, and most of that time has been travelling solo. But I'm now travelling with a special guest. My son, Jasper, has come to join me for the last couple of weeks of the journey as I head back to Melbourne. So it's really cool to spend the last few weeks of my journey with my son. I haven't seen him for 8 months, so I'm really looking forward to it once we get the van back on the road. Okay, so the problem was I hit a big rock and it put a hole in a metal pipe that's part of the radiator system, so the van wasn't going anywhere. Been towed to the nearest town, and now Zach, the mechanic, local mechanic, reckons he's got an old Toyota Hiace up in the back paddock. Might be able to get the pipe off that and see if it fits mine. If it does, we're in business and we're on our way. He thinks there's a pretty low percentage of that being correct, so chances are he has to order in a part. And if that's the case, we're going to be in town for a couple of days until it arrives and he can fit it, and then we'll be on our way. So we're basically just hanging around in Adaminaby. What is it?
Adaminaby.
So we're basically just hanging around in Adaminaby. Get on time. They got a good pizza store here over at the pub. Okay, update on the van situation. Apparently Toyota doesn't have the part. They have to get it in from Japan. It's going to be 6 weeks. 6 weeks! 6 weeks of being stuck in this tiny little town in the middle of nowhere. Oh my God. So this church is from the original old Adaminaby. No, I can't say it.
Adaminaby.
But they moved it here before the old town was flooded for the dam. And it's a gorgeous country church. Beautiful stained glass windows. Have a look. The thing with old country churches is, firstly, they brought communities together, but you've got to remember, for small communities, this is where people got married, this is where children were baptised, this is where they said their final goodbyes to loved ones. So churches were a really integral part of small country communities. Nutty, how long have you been here?
I've been here for 5 months.
And what do you think of the town?
It's very small, but I mean, if you wanna take your time, enjoy your time, like being alone or with some local, it's pretty good here. Like it's very local, and I mean, I can truly feel like Australia culture, kind of.
Yeah, you're from Thailand, yes?
Yes, I'm from
And you're
Thailand.
enjoying travelling around, obviously.
Yes, of course. It's gonna be my 2 years next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I very enjoyed it.
Cool. Thanks for talking.
Thank you.
So let's see what we can find in Adaminaby. No, Adaminaby. Town's name. The locals just go, and it just comes straight out. I can't get my tongue around it.
It's not Adaminaby, it's Adaminaby.
Update on the van. Mechanics sourced the part from a wrecker. They're sending it. It should be here tomorrow. Fingers crossed, we'll be out of here by the next day. So Steve, how long have you been in town?
Oh, well, I was born and grew up here, but I left to get a career.
Yeah.
And came back 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But my family's been here since 1834.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that makes you a local.
Oh, I suppose it does.
Steve, what are the things you really like about living here in Adaminaby?
Oh, I like the quietness. I've never been one for big towns.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, and there's so much to do in summer, especially.
Yeah.
I'm not so much into winter sports, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But summer, I mean, there's horse riding, push bike riding, walking,
Yeah.
everything. Because the whole park's open.
Yes.
Whereas in winter time, all you can do in the park is ski.
Yeah.
So and when you grow up and work in the rubbish, the last thing you want to do is play in it.
Also in town is a little museum that talks about the Snowy scheme. It's closed, unfortunately, today. It's only open on weekends because they can't get volunteers. But let me tell you a little bit about the Snowy scheme. They started building the Snowy scheme in 1949. It took 25 years to complete. It was, if not it was certainly one of the largest engineering projects in Australia's history. The scheme involves 16 major dams, 7 hydroelectric power stations, a pumping station, and 145 kilometres of tunnels. It also involved construction of something like 1,600 kilometres of roads and tracks through really rugged mountainous countries, 7 townships and more than 100 camps. And something like 2/3 of the workers on the project were immigrants, mostly from Southern Europe. And that helped to bring the whole Italian and Greek culture to Australia after World War II. So you probably have this to thank for a good espresso and a really nice pasta dish. And these days they're building Snowy 2, which is another hydroelectric project, and it's in the same area, and that's why there's a lot of fly-in, fly-out workers that you'll find in this place. Adaminaby. See, I've been here so long I've learned how to say it. Van update, it's fixed, it's great, we're back on the road. Hey, we're back on the road, yeah. At last.
Yeah, Adaminaby's a nice town, but it feels good to be driving again.
For sure. All through the Snowy Mountains are these old bush huts. This one's from 1903. They're put here by stockmen because the weather can change up here and storms can come through, and in winter you can be buried in snow. So it's here where you can find a little bit of respite from the weather and ensure that you're safe. And they're still used for that purpose today. And for hikers, if hikers come through and the weather's changing, they need shelter, these huts are all through the mountains. Oh, I hear that thunder. Storm's coming, so we better be on our way. This is the Kiandra courthouse. It's pretty much all that remains of the town of Kiandra, 1400 meters up on top of the snowy plains. It is freezing. That wind is so cold. But I just want to show you how barren this place is. And out the back of the courthouse is the old lockup, because it was a courthouse and a police station and later became a chalet, and now it's just a ruin. It's kind of crazy that in this vast emptiness there's just this one building sticking out. There's a little shack just over here too, but all around me is empty and windswept, and in winter would be deep in snow, and then there's this one building. Oh my god, I've got to get back in.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh my goodness. But up here, the weather can change very quickly. Within an hour, there were blue skies. All of this area would be under snow in winter. In fact, the alpine region of Australia gets more snow than the Swiss Alps. And beautiful fresh mountain streams. Oh my goodness, it's really pure and gorgeous and cool. In the Kosciuszko National Park, there's Uraungabili caves. So we've come to the caves. There's a series of caves here. You can do cave tours or you can do a self-guided tour. That's what we're doing. And then later we're going to a thermal pool. From the car park, it's about a 500-meter walk to the cave. There's a series of caves here. I think there's 4 or 5 of them. We're just going to go to one of them. Jasper, we're finally on the move.
Yeah.
And we're getting to have an adventure.
Oh, finally. Oh, I have so much pent-up energy.
Teenage energy.
Yeah.
Okay, short walk and we've come to the caves. Oh my goodness, this is huge. There's several caves right here. They're called the Glory Hole Caves. Get your mind out of the gutter. We're going to North Glory or South Glory? South Glory, this one. I'd never heard of these caves before, but one of the cool things about traveling is as you get to an area, you just have a look on maps and do a little bit of research, and you find incredible things like this. I had no idea it was even here. Huge stalagmites. I think stalagmites are the ones that go up, and stalactites are the ones that come down. It's really peaceful in here, and all I can hear is the little drips of water. It's quite wet. Oh, just got one right down the back of my neck. Oh my God, that was cold. It's really narrow. And if you suffer from claustrophobia, you probably don't want to be here. But it's cool, I'm loving it. Cave just keeps going and going. I think it might be about 400 or 500 meters long. Next to the caves, about a 700-meter walk, you get down to a geothermal pool. It's a natural pool, like they've made it into a swimming pool, but the water is natural. And apparently all year round it sits at 27 degrees. And I'm looking forward to getting into that. Next I've come down the mountain to the pretty little town of Talbingo. This has a beautiful lake here. This is one of 16 that were part of the original Snowy hydro scheme. So these absolute legends saved my life. This is Kevin and Kylie. And Kylie's saving my life again making coffee over here.
You're most welcome.
You guys are legends. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. It was lovely to meet you.
Yeah.
Never know, we might see you on the road sometime.
Yeah. And I must say they make great coffee and burgers. And if you're fishing, which a lot of people do around here, they have fat worms. I didn't really expect to spend any time in Adaminaby, but maybe breaking down was a blessing in disguise. Not only did I get to see a little bit of the town and learn about its history, but I met people like Kylie and Kevin and Nikki, who rescued us on the side of the road. And these people showed me that country people are kind and generous. And Australia is filled with these sort of people. They've become friends now, and that's even better. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. In the Cosy, you can tell that was the first vlog for the morning.